here's Dirching. This is Luna's parents' house, and they've been living here, and they all grow vegetables around here. That's like radishes and spinach and stuff like that. Luna's house is, as you saw, 3 stories high, and it's about 50 years old, I think. And Luna's dad and his friends made it by themselves, and it took like a few months to finish. And because this is out in the country, they can have their houses. It's not on a 70-year lease like most places in China, so they can keep this forever. The government, of course, may suddenly take it, but it's not on that 70-year lease thing. This kitchen's really interesting. They use fire to heat their food and stuff. They don't have any electrical stuff there. Here's a nice meal that they made. This is typical food that they eat. This is like fish and spinach, stuff like that. This is Luna's cousin, doing farmy things. They're all peasants around here, pretty much. Playing mahjong, I learnt that, not too hard. This is just across the road, Luna's grandfather and grandmother, and they have been together for like maybe 50 years, and they met up, and this is their garden, and they met up just by being introduced a long time ago, and they've lived in Dirching their whole lives. This is their small house, as you can see, very basic. Not much to see here really, but it is interesting to see a house like that. So this is the coronavirus stuff that they were doing for a while. They scan your temperature and then they write down your name and things like that. Same in the shops. If your temperature is too high, then you can't come in. And this is just a supermarket, a few kilometers up from Luna's house. The street has been barricaded off just with this simple mechanism. Luna's dad helped cut down the tree, so people from over that bridge can't get into this place now, because this place is really safe. There hasn't been any cases of the coronavirus here. As of today, there's over 600 deaths from the coronavirus and 30,000 cases in China. So Dirching is 40 minutes away drive, roughly, depending on the traffic. Sometimes it can be like 35 minutes from Hangzhou, which is where I live. And in Hangzhou, there's been, I think, 150 cases, no deaths. But Luna's pregnant right now, and she's 2 months pregnant, and I'm really scared for her going back and then potentially getting the virus, and then the baby gets it because it might be transmissible to the baby. So I'm really worried about that. I want her to just quit her job and just stay in Dirching for a while I go back and work. But my holiday has been massively extended by, I think, 3 weeks, so I don't go back to work until March, but it may be extended even more depending on how the virus is. So here's more of Dirching, just very basic houses. No one's rich. Most people, they just farm. Luna's grandparents make silk, and they have a little silk tree farm over the road from them. These little ponds and stuff you see here. Here's a silk farm. They have the leaves that silkworms like to eat, and then they'll make silk, and they can make blankets and pillows and whatever. But most of the little ponds around here are for growing prawns and lobsters sometimes, but mainly just prawns, and they'll be sold around here, and I think to maybe other places like Hangzhou. I'm not sure though. And Luna's mum and dad, they'll just either grow their own food and they buy some meat from the markets. But they have their own chickens and ducks and stuff and eggs, so they can just eat that as well. So Luna's mum had an interesting childhood. She, when she was in grade 3, all of a sudden a baby just showed up at her door one night, and just a few months old baby, and Luna's mum didn't want it to die or anything, so she just decided to quit school from then on and just take care of the baby. And so she's only got a grade 3 education because of that. But it's very noble what she did, I think. And the girl that she saved, is in regular contact with her, and her parents came back to visit her one day saying, "Oh, we're so sorry that we abandoned you," and the daughter just said, "No, don't. I don't want anything to do with you. Get away from me." Because Luna's mum essentially saved her life. And so some more things that I want to tell you. The population of this place, it's in Derqing, but it's an even smaller area called Xiashe, and the population is 30,000 people, which is pretty small by Chinese standards, that's for sure. And it's a really old town, hundreds of years old. They speak Derqing dialect down here, and I can speak a bit of Mandarin, and I've been learning it for 4 years, and I can't understand really any of this dialect. It's very different. But I am trying to learn, but it's very difficult. Another interesting thing is, so my, Luna's Chinese name is Yu Xinxia, and so her last name is Yu, and there's a bridge right near her house, and it's called Yu Bridge. And I said, was that named after your family or something? And she said, oh, lots of people around here have the surname Yu. So that's why it's got a bridge like that. So, the community hasn't spread very far. This little tower that you can see here, doesn't look like much, but Luna, when she was younger, she didn't leave this area really ever. And she always thought that was a really massive tower and things like that. But, doesn't think that anymore since she's, moved to Hangzhou, because she lives with me in Hangzhou now. Another interesting thing that happened was I was walking around one time, because with this virus you just got to stay in your house all the time. But luckily in this area, because it's not such a dense population city, you can kind of walk around. It's not as strict. Anyway, because it's a small town, they all kind of know each other. And as a foreigner, I obviously stand out, and they think, okay, well, there's no way that guy is from Xiashe. And this is Luna's school on the left, by the way, and that goes from kindergarten to year 9, or year 1, sorry, to year 9. And then she had to leave to go to a bigger area after that, and her brother will have his last year, I think, there. Anyway, with the so as I was walking around, I walked past some Chinese people. I didn't think anything of it, and then later on, these people came knocking on Luna's door, and I got called up, and then Luna's like, "You got to come back now. People are looking for you and stuff." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "You can't walk around like this. So quick, hurry up and come back." So I came back. And then they said, "You can't walk around and stuff." And, they took my temperature and they got me information and stuff like that, because they just thought maybe I could be from Wuhan, which is, the epicenter of the virus. And they don't want me contaminating this uncontaminated town with, a virus, the coronavirus. And it was pretty crazy to get reported, but it was volunteers that checked me out. And then if I was from a dangerous area that was infected and whatever, then the volunteers would have sent me on to the police, but the police weren't the first responders. And then later on, Luna's, uncle and his wife, they live in Zhejiang, they live in Hangzhou and things like that. And then the people in this town noted that they looked at their license plate and they were like, "Oh, they're not from around here," and they got reported as well. So it's just like you really don't want to travel very far during this virus, You just could be reported by anyone, and it's just going to make like life difficult. So now I don't have little strolls really. Maybe like 50 meters, and that's it. I've been stuck in Xiashe this whole holiday, which I was really hoping would be a really nice holiday because I've been just looking forward to it. But I've been doing my Chinese and whatever, and doing little projects like this documentary to take up my time. But it would have been nice to travel because I was going to visit my brother in Hong Kong for 4 days, and Luna and I were excited about that. But yeah, couldn't do it because of this stupid virus. This is the town, by the way, which is near Luna's house. This is as big as it gets. So whenever you want to buy stuff or get something like a milk tea, or go to a supermarket, buy snacks and Coke and meat, whatever, this is where you'll go. And it's really small. Like basically everything that you're seeing now, that's it. That's the whole place. And things are very cheap around here. Normally, if you want to buy a milk tea in Hangzhou, it'll cost you like 13 kwai, which is about $3. But here it costs like 60 cents for milk tea. That's the shop, by the way, the milk tea shop, but it's closed down. And Luna used to go there a lot after school when she was younger. And up here is the government building. I always find the hammer and sickle symbol quite interesting. You see it much more in the countrysides than in the cities. This is a lantern. You've probably seen this before, but I've never done one before. So you just hold you light up the little wax thing in it, and then once it's on fire decently, you just hold it for a while, let it inflate with hot air, and then you can just let it go. It'll just float up. They're very kind of precarious things. They're very sensitive to wind and water and things like that. So this one was a bit temperamental. It looked like it wanted to come back inside, but thankfully it didn't. Yesterday we tried one, and it did go up in flames. But this one, managed to float away. And this originated from Buddhist monks, this thing. But yeah, beautiful festival.